so this is our base. This would be like the main central area is this tree. You've got this section over here, which is pretty open and bare. I think Jared had more in mind for getting it full functioning and decorated, but I definitely wanted him to start making me buildings that we needed. So he got pulled from each project he was on instead of really completing it all the way, which I'm sure he would have liked to have done. I definitely pulled him off of that to start doing things that we needed. I believe this is a swamp portal, and this is our drop chest. Or that or the mountain.
I think I had a few different portals set up on this wall with these just drop chests, just out of convenience, because after we did make that transition over, most of the stuff was here, so it made no sense to be back at the other base, but it still needed a place before the towers. So it looked really gross with just portals all along the wall and these chests hanging out. But,
because these used to be all portals right here. Right along this wall. But yeah, this was the first spot that was open to use here at the house. We did have a lot of storage here. It was hard for us, moving stuff back and forth because we were still really using the other base heavily, right? With this being the first up in base, we did have a forge and stuff here, I believe. Hello? Where's the forge? Again, right? So, I mean, we did have things here, but like not all of our storage was here. And it was an inconvenient move because we didn't move 100% because we were still using the other base, which I think is what we found really difficult. At least I did when I was playing. Mikey, you can speak to your own experience, but I definitely was using both sets of storage because I was portaling to the other place so often that I was using the storage, but I was also using the other storage, and so, we never really finished this one out, and then fully did the move. I don't know if that was your experience, but that definitely was a pain of mine. I don't know where you're going because the next spot is definitely up here.
I was just looking around.
This is our separate bedrooms that Jared made. This was our kind of roaming guest one right here, and then Mikey's room over here. I really liked what you did at this. I think you really personalized it, unlike me. And you do root armor in every one. Interesting.
Yeah, after I found out that they made it, even though it doesn't really fall in line with how I progress through the weapons, I still make it because I think it just looks really dope. I like the concept and the bows and stuff. I was really, I don't know, the archer, when the game first came out, I was very fond of it. I was just like, well, I'm going to take everything out from range because stuff will get me. And when that came out, I was like, oh, excellent. Like, they have an armor set made for bows, but like when you're getting that, you're also getting iron, and iron is just...
You surpass it.
Way better, yeah.
This is my room. I used to have a different... Oh, Queen Gummy, that's so cute. My bedroom changed quite a few times, so this is finally what I settled on. I used to have a nice bed, and then I changed it for my rested bonus to get higher right here. But yeah, I had like a 4-poster bed set up, and then I've got my elusive coins up here, my treasure. But this was a nice, just like, again, resting room if I didn't feel like seeing them. And then also wanted a place to put my stuff. I think that's what really changed with this playthrough, is that we had an area separate from each other that you could decorate and then put all your stuff. Because again, for this playthrough, right, there was mainly just Michael, Jared, and I. But, we had a room for the 4th person. But it was nice because it's like you really did get to personalize that room for what you wanted. Jared did the initial outline of them, and then it was kind of whatever you wanted.
I like how you've got a door on there. And I think that's what you had there first.
Yeah, I never got rid of it.
And then after I did the entryway
of mine,
it
was brilliant.
You were like, I was like, that's way better.
That's way better. Yeah, no, I really like it. Yeah, I really liked, I believe Jared got raided once and by himself and then needed to get out quickly, so he made this like back door area. I really like it. I used it quite a bit often. We did scavenge on the mountain behind us, and there's a swamp area here on this island that we did go to. I don't believe there was a lot of swamp that we actually did, but there was like silver and stuff up there, so I did jump over this trench quite a few times. I only ever died to it once. Inconvenient. I cannot Jared, who says that we never scavenged here. This is a grove, Jared. This is a grove. I don't know how much trees I got for you, but it was a lot. Plenty of times. We definitely, you can see that I have a path going this way to the silver and to the swamp that loops around the island. But I jumped over this quite a few times, and let me tell you, you do need stamina for it. So, surprise, surprise. But yeah, we don't have an entrance to this place. There's literally no door onto this place from like real ground past the trench to the place. There's no way to get in. And I say that as I now run across, because I do think there's a door over here. Or there used to be a door over here. But yeah, I think, nope, yeah, no door. There's no way to get anymore, in.
But I think I remember there being one. Yeah. Because it was where the kitchen was, and it was just like lined with, okay. So it used to be there. It was taken away during the production, and
yeah. But anyways, there's no way to get in. So I died to the trench. I mean, this right here was my door in and out. It was I hope you have enough stamina to get over this trench, because this was exactly how I got in and out of the base if I ventured out. Besides just a portal. Other than that, this is our leading to our next room, our kitchen, and all-around trophy room. I did like this. I mean, it was fun actually I really liked seeing the trophies around. Again, you can see that there are plenty of torches. The Resin King did not fail me here. But there was a torch for every trophy, and by golly, I mean, don't get me wrong. This place, fully lit, looks amazing. But again, do you know how much resin that takes? So much. But it was cool getting to see all the trophies out and about. I feel like you get all these trophies all this time while you're exploring, and you kind of never see them put up. I mean, some of them are a little grosser than others, right? I really like our boss trophies over here. The serpent's a little much. Did that just spit water? Anyways, yeah, it was, I mean, I liked our kitchen. I honestly don't remember doing a lot of cooking here. I'm sure that I did, but I don't really remember it. I did really like this idea of doing, instead of signs, you did an item. But turns out not every item can be snapped like that. So we still had to do signs. But I thought this was a really cool idea that Jared started doing. And then, yeah, you can do with everything. So that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it would be nice if everything snapped like that, because having just a whole bunch of signs sometimes looks like tedious and doesn't look as nice as having the actual items sitting out there.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we talk about cooking. I think the only thing I really cooked here was the serpent meat on this rack.
That's funny. I'm sure I cooked here, because there's definitely stuff here. No, I must have
made
cooked here.
Bread too, yeah, because the oven.
We used to have an oven right here. Yeah, it was taking over this area. I remember that. Because I tried putting the oven initially right here, but turns out you can't put the oven not directly on top of like stone or the ground. So it broke constantly. So it came over here to this walkway that we needed to get places. And I said, forget it. We need an oven. Yeah, no, I mean, I like the place again, a bar. Mainly, instead of just aesthetic, this actually hosted our potions. So I thought that was really neat. I'm glad that Jared put this in, right? He did have the same idea, or was at least inspired by Leonard in the last build of the bar. I like that this is too wide. It definitely gives a more like tavern-like look with all the things on the walls. But it did serve as storage, and we did actually use all of this except for maybe the tasty mead, which is pointless. But
I think I found the actual use for that. It's like when you're doing chores. There's really no other place for you to do it, because it just regenerates the stamina quicker, and it's cooldown is like 10 seconds.
Wow. But no, I mean, I liked this. I thought this was good. You can get behind here easily, which is nice. You can also just jump over the bar. No, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a good idea. I liked that we got to encompass it actually into the functionality of us playing. Because let's just say that that's not always the case with builds. Sometimes they're just for aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. He did bring over that like kind of like, what do you call it, the bar entryway with the, like, it looks like it's swinging up to let you in.
Yes, it does. true to form, we do have a speakeasy. Woohoo! One of the things that I really liked that Jared did, we did have, again, a gross amount of fermenters, but again, this is just a huge area. Yeah, this is just a huge area, so having them makes it look full and together, but I
don't think I ever actually used them all at the same time.
I've used them all, but not with the intention of refilling them. Right, like, they would just sit there until I needed them. What I did really like that I initially had asked for, and Jared really went for it, was putting up where we had storage for everything you need, and then putting up signs actually for the recipes. I thought this was so genius, because I can't tell you how many times I'd get to the cauldron and be like, this is what I want to do, and then get over here and be like, what the hell did I need? How many did I need? What am I doing? So it was really nice just, like, being here and, like, okay, I'm going to get honey, or I'm going to do these things, and, like, having the actual, like, recipe right here I thought was really, really nice. So I did ferment down here, but I didn't do it that often, because I just didn't really ferment. It was kind of just when I needed it. It wasn't, like, for the squad. Yeah, I mean, I liked this area. I didn't spend a lot of time in here. It's kind of hard to in a fermenter area just because, like, you put them in and then you, like, leave them alone. You don't have to be here.
Yeah, and having the signs with the ingredients kind of, like, alleviates the space between those ingredients and the cauldron.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's a great area. I liked it. I thought it was fun underneath. We didn't have this opening here. So it was just like you did what you needed and then you went up top. I liked it. Speaking of, I loved our kitchen. Again, let's talk about how we got to the plains. I get a cool kitchen and then I didn't really get to use it. I believe this is one of the last builds to go up. Actually, this whole outside area, I'll run out here really quick so we can see what I'm talking about. This outside area went up second to the main compound up there. I believe our first build that Jared put up because of the felt need that we had was the forge as well as the dock area. I think dock came up earlier than the forge area was completed. And then I believe we always had the piggy fuck farm thanks to Michael. I believe it was the kitchen and then part of the bedrooms and then the portal tower. Portal tower and then the bedrooms.
I think the bedrooms might have been the very last thing because none of us made that transition.
That's right.
Except for Jared, because as soon as he knew it was done, he moved everything over.
Right. Where we were out. Yeah. As you can see, we again still did not make the full transition of food over to here. This again is a lot of plains items. So it went up way late in the game. We were already in the plains. It's got the ovens and stuff. This playthrough was before playing in the Mistlands, so there wasn't another biome after this. There wasn't more to do. It was kind of you finished the plains and then that was it. So again, I really liked the space. However, I didn't get to use it. So my complaints there, but that's more just that's how the game was. It was nothing on the builders. It's just kind of unfortunate that a lot of the prettier items and like other stuff you got to do in the game didn't come around into the plains. I mean, one of those being the ovens, where, you know, that's kind of where a lot of the kitchen comes from. And when you need space is the ovens. Yeah, I liked this. I mean, the storage was easy to get to. We did have this up above area with our finished items, which I actually used quite a bit towards the end. I liked just being able to pick what I needed. You can see that it's some of the higher tier items, so I didn't have to worry about picking ones that wouldn't benefit me as I was out exploring. I liked this cute little area. This is aesthetic. This is all aesthetic. But I mean, it was nice. I really liked it. I don't think I really used this area for food that often, just because we were at the end. You can see that we only moved very few items down here, and because we still had all this storage that we didn't use.
I like the symmetry that they brought into this, where it's like, it doesn't matter what side you're going to, it has exactly what you need. So like the cooking racks, the cauldrons, and all of the upgrades for the cauldron.
Jared did a really good job on this kitchen.
Yeah.
I think that he really nailed it. I mean, we could have been cooking at the same time and it wouldn't have mattered. I will say you can see that he used this as his like building storage, which as someone using the kitchen, I don't appreciate it because I have to run around it or do whatever. However, he is in the midst of building, so again, that's not like a full complaint. It was, if he had moved it when he was done, it would have been fine. But yeah, I mean, they started out nice. We did the Plains farm literally right here. In our last playthrough of the first base, it was definitely nice having the Plains farm right next to the kitchen area, because you are really farming the barley and stuff over there for bread and lox pies and fish wraps. So being able to just come right back to the kitchen after farming that and dropping all of the flour and stuff off was really nice. I did like what he did with these doors. I probably ran through the speakeasy more than running out these doors, but hey, that's okay. We'll go over to the bedrooms next, just because it's right next to the compound. I did like this building. I really did. Mikey speaks to the pre-spiral staircase that the guys use, and I do really like it. It's way easier to run up than the spiral staircases that came out in the Mistlands. But again, like, they take time to get up, because you can just see how much detail goes into this and how much finicky building goes into it. So I mean, it's not something you can whip up like the bronze staircases, so it definitely takes time and precision to get that up there.
Yeah, I remember them talking about the difficulties of the snapping points and everything, which I think that's where the time comes in, is like not everything snaps appropriately, so it's like they have to go in phases and then redo things to get other things to snap. So
no, it definitely turns out well. These are my preferred staircase. Through here is the ground floor. Jared Wright is the only one who moved in, but again, it would have been nice to have a, I mean, it's a little bit bigger, and it is an open space. You can see that it's only one floor instead of two. In the other base, Jared and I had like a lofted room. But yeah, these are the rooms. I think this is a really nice building. Again, it's close. I think it has a good resting bonus in here, and then it's close to the kitchen and to the portals, which is in the portal tower right over here. I'm not gonna lie to you, I love the portal tower, but I always forget where the portals are. This was one of the last buildings. I think Mikey's right in saying the bedrooms were the last one up, but the portal, actually, these were spread everywhere. So then getting the portal tower was nice. Any resource gathering one is down here on this main floor. Jared did make sure of that, so if you needed to go and get like rock and stone and stuff like that, you did have access to the cart, which is really nice, because obviously on the double helix spiral staircase that he's got going on here, you were not able to drag the cart up. So everything up here is like boss related. But yeah, so we definitely didn't fill out the area, and then going up top is more like a haha fun time than it is a we actually used it. I don't think I used up here for anything other than just coming up here to look at it and then looking at like what was going on at our base, but then ultimately left. I don't think I actually used it for anything. Just kind of a chilling space. I do really like it. I liked how the portal area turned out. Didn't use it that much, just because, again, we were really, Mikey and I still were really on that first base. What you don't see here, right, is we did, I mean, before Jared turned this in from a village, like a previous Draugr village that we overtook into the main compound area up there. Mikey and I had used this area to like whip up kilns and smelters, and we were smelting things off the boat that we just pulled up to the ragtag team of dirt, and like, you know, we kind of just made do with it while buildings were still going up. So it turned out very grand, but functionality wise, only having the one builder who was focused on that, it was hard adventuring through the rest of the map in the game, and then not having all the buildings kind of like needed to get there. We asked Jared really early on for this forge and dock area, because that was pretty much the most needed thing that we needed, because we were traveling back and forth so often. We needed a dock area, and then if we were smelting anything, getting right in here. I actually don't remember using the smelter room that often, just because when we initially did iron and silver, we did just kind of whip up those smelters right outside the compound and kind of smelt things right there. I remember having to drag all of the ore up the stairs up to the main compound where all of our storage was before we got this building up. So it definitely wasn't always this way. But I mean, it turned out really nice. Do you remember using the forge that often?
Not in here, no. Yeah, it was exactly like you said. We were doing everything outside, and I would have liked to have used this in this way because having the kilns up there drop the coal down, and then you can just go straight into it, would have made it really nice. I think the biggest thing I think about this building, though, is you mentioned it before, is the storage is just not even close to where all this stuff is.
So the storage for the smelters and stuff is way over here. So I don't know how much stamina Jared thinks that we have, but it definitely was, I got like about here. After picking everything up and dragging shit over here.
All over the ground.
Yeah, and then I was tossing stuff to try and make it to the end. But I mean, we did use this, we did move over like feathers and fine wood and stuff that you need to build. All of our stuff went in these chests over here. This whole side wasn't used, so definitely we could have moved stuff down here if we did not. Just because at this point in the game, Mikey and I were pretty leveled out and didn't really need it. It definitely was still like needed, but not in like the quantity that we needed when it wasn't built. So it was more like fine-tuning things than anything else. But a lot of where you start smelting a lot is iron and silver, just because that's some of your most building items. Like, we smelted a lot of iron that went into the builds for this house, and that was done without having the smelter area. So, I mean, it's nice having it, but again, I don't think we really used it that much. I love this dock area. This is probably one of my favorite docks. I love Leonard's curve design on the base 1 dock. However, I actually think this is my favorite dock. I really like how it looks. I think it's like a fun, it really kind of gives me that, like, I don't know, just like a fun vibe just coming down to the dock, and then you've got like the staircases leading in. I love this, these staircases, right, because when you're over encumbered you just come out. Can't tell you how many times this saved my life getting out of a boat and having the stairs that actually are in the water. And like not having to like swim to your death. But yeah, I mean, this is probably my favorite dock. But
I think I'd have to agree.
Yeah. Functionality, I think it worked out fine. We were able to bring the cart all the way down here, so it was no issue. You can see that there wasn't really any, there's not like a ton of stairs you have to go up, and the stairs you do are stone, so there was no hard part getting up or down. Yeah, no, I mean, I liked
plus
it.
Plus it's covered, like completely covered, so it's like as soon as you get it in here and park, I was like, and out of the water, you're immediately starting to get, like right now, it's raining outside. Yeah, and like the wet, just that, and like by the time you're probably back here, you have no rested bonus. Maybe it's nighttime, and having that double negative effect on your stamina,
right,
super annoying. So having it covered just gets rid of those debuffs like that much quicker.
No, I really liked this. I think it looks really good. It's got the outside effect. It's got, you know, in the base but not in the base. Definitely my favorite dock by far on all of our playthroughs. I think Jared did a really good job with this build. Right, minor inconveniences of having to run places, but again, we didn't use it that often, so it actually wasn't that big of a deal. Just a few times that we did.
This might have been the first one that he made too, so it was like I think he was still testing out the limitations and what he could actually do. So it's like, I get that. It's like, just I think going forward, we could probably like condensed it or like reorganized it in a way that made it less inconvenient for bringing the stuff either from there over here or back.
Last little bit of our place is just this front area. I think we were planning on using it for something. We finished. Yeah. Jared pretty much participated in boss fights, and then that was it. I think most of the time we kitted him out. He did go to the mountain with us, but I found was really funny is he'd used his iron for building and not for like tools. So when we did go to the mountain, the man did not have an iron pick, which you need for silver. So it just kind of showcased that he was really just building this game and wasn't really adventuring like Michael and I we're doing and out and about, which was fine.
He wanted to use this space because it was the first. It's hard to remember now; it was so long ago. But the first game we ever played, Leonard built an arena that had really high comfort and regen for stamina, and we would take off the we would put on PvP and just kind of brawl and level up random stuff in there. I think that's what the idea was, to make this kind of open space, that kind of environment. But we just didn't play long enough for that to come out.
I don't know. I think all in all, I really did like this build. My one complaint is that it did, because of just how grandeur this building was, how just big this compound was. It did really go in sections, right? It wasn't just like it was overnight building. Jared was our only builder. We got resources from him, or resources for him. He also got resources himself, because there were plenty of days that Mikey and I spent just on the boat and like mining out silver, mining out iron, and like not resource gathering for him. So he did do that as well. But again, right, he was the only one building, so it did take him time to get stuff up. Probably slower than I would have liked, but actually quite fast for how well the buildings turned out. Now having a little bit of building experience under my belt, I can definitely appreciate how nice these buildings are. And while I do complain while playing that it was slow, I mean, he did a good job with how they look and then how fast they went up. I don't know. I didn't really mind the fact that it did have more of a like village feel to it, right? Nothing is right next to each other, literally nothing. But I don't
spend a lot more time running between each of the places. But
I will say I didn't really mind that though, because it's like I felt like each place had a purpose, right? That it's like I liked running to those places.
I think because we were adventuring, we were used to just being out so much more. And like in the world, you're covering so much ground anyways. It was like when we got back, it felt like nothing. It was like we didn't have to run like from the mountain to our boat to get the silver there. It was just like, oh, like that took us, 5 minutes literally to get down the mountain and to the boat. Whereas here, it's like, I don't really care that it's going to take me 15 seconds, 30 seconds to get from one place to the other, because it's not 5 minutes.
Right. No, I definitely would say this is probably one of the sadder ones that I would have liked to have played the Mistlands on this map, because it would have been nice. Everything you see here would have been up while we played in that biome.
And used.
And used, right. So I think that's a lot of more my complaint, is that Jared spent a lot of time on this build and it turned out really nice, and I just feel like it wasn't used to its full potential because it's like we never really moved in. But that's kind of it. I think that's all I've got for this. I mean, we covered a lot of the areas.
Yeah, I think that just about covers it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this video. Again, if you've made it this far, I'm proud of you. You must be one of our friends, trying to listen in on what it was like for us. But yeah, all in all, I think this was a great build. It was a very fun playthrough. I had a really good time. Yeah. See you in the next one.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Ciao.